Football Gamers. I'm GloryHoundd, and this is
Ellen Kirby with We Game Together.
Yay! Today's board games and beverages and stuff. So we're going to be talking about board games and just generally hanging out and talking about life as well. So
yes.
Hello to our chat today. It looks like we already have Battle Cry in chat. How are you
doing,
Battle Cry?
Awesome. Hello. You know what? That's funny. You're like, where we talk about games and just life stuff. Because I actually went to post an Instagram thing, like, join us in an hour. And I was going to type out what we're going to kind of talk about. And I was like, and just whatever else we want to talk about.
Yeah. Just everything.
Just everything. Oh, whatever my goodness.
So you went on vacation last week, so we're going to do some special things with games for you. But I kind of want to hear a little bit about your vacation and how much fun that was, so I can live vicariously through you.
It was amazing. We went to Door County in Wisconsin. It was really funny because I actually didn't know we were going until we were in the car going. I was like, my friend's like, where are you actually going? And I'm like, at Door County. She's like, Ellen, there's like areas of Door County though. And I'm just like, oh, Randy, where are we going? So we stayed in Sister Bay, and it's very cozy. It's got all the little shops lined up. You got your ice cream places and your souvenirs. Yeah, it's pretty precious actually. And Door County is like famous in the fall time because the foliage out there just explodes and it's incredible. Last time we were out there, I think I was pregnant with my last son, and the colors were insane. So people like travel there to go along the windy road and get pictures of that. Like, it's very known for it. But the trip was awesome. I was telling GloryHoundd here about the behavior of my children. And, I was just kind of like, why are you with me though? Why did I bring you?
I'm so glad that's not just me, because sometimes I'm just like, what? Do you want to participate in this trip, or do you just want to be a dead jerk and ruin the whole thing?
Don't make me turn this car around. Oh my gosh, the crap that you say to your kids, you do end up saying all the same stuff that your parents said to you.
Yeah.
It just, you think you're not going to do it? I dare you to not say it. I dare you. It's just, they had an amazing time, but it was a lot of like, they were so excited to get to the hotel at the end of the day because there's a swimming pool. So me and my husband, like, we wanted to go see sights and like take pictures of the bluffs and like go see all the lighthouses. And they were like, when are we going to the pool? And they said that probably 1,000 times a day. Yeah. I was just like, if you talk about the pool again, I'm not going to let you swim. Like, I will take it away from you.
In the pool, you're like, you want to go in the pool? You want to go in the pool?
You will not bring up the pool again. Yeah, it was, But my beautiful, precious, amazing, wonderful, who I'm in love with, little baby boy who's autistic, I was kind of worried about how he would do. But he is an amazing traveler. He had a blast in the pool. He loved being on the walks. We had to put him in the stroller because, bluffs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Watery death.
Yes.
So, so we had him strapped down, but it was a fantastic trip. It was just the change of scenery I needed. And now that we're home, we're going to be starting on our bathroom again tonight. And I'm like, here we go.
A good break in between. Like, if anybody can do like a little mini road trip or something like that, like now is the time, because I don't know, after being in lockdown for so long and everything, I feel that need to also just go outside and relax for a few minutes and get away from everything. So I'm so happy that you got to take that trip and everything. I need to do that. I need to go on a little camping trip or something. Like,
highly recommend it. I just read something too that's interesting. Like, people being holed up in our houses all the time. What do we do because we're bored? We have nothing to do. You go on your phones, right? You're surfing the internet. You're looking at the news a lot, and so there's just a constant bombardment of like information about everything that's going on, and so you find yourself living in that headspace a lot, and it sucks the joy and the life away from the life that's in front of you. And it feels so 101 to say that, like, well, duh, but but like, as soon as you actively think about how it is affecting your life, you start to be like, wow, this is a joy sucker. So getting out, and it's just not worth it to live in that space. So we were like, let's get the heck out of here for a weekend, and it was. Yeah, highly recommend. Go anywhere.
Absolutely. Like, we had our kid actually put together like a little mini pool party where we have like a little plastic pool out there, and they're like, we're going to have a mini pool party, and they have like this little light that looks like a campfire out there, and like,
oh my gosh, it's so cute.
All these chairs, and we had dinner out there and stuff, and just going out in the yard and doing something different and stuff was so nice. Like, so nice.
Yeah, I think one of the best things right now is to go the heck outside and get some fresh air. That's the number one medicine I'm prescribing to everybody watching. Go suck in some fresh air.
Battle Cry says YouTube is evil. Well,
YouTube is
on
evil.
There, but
I'm like, well, not right now though.
Evil, yeah.
In about an hour, yeah.
In
an hour when we're done.
Yeah. Yes, totally evil, but right now, joyful
so
and fantastic.
Good.
Okay,
so good. Yeah.
And hello to Andrew in chat as well.
Oh, hi, Andrew. Hello. Glad you're here. So, do you guys have any kind of trips planned this summer, or just no?
We usually wing it. I really want to go back up to the observatory. We have the Lowell Observatory that's about 2 hours north of Phoenix. And I went, I want to say a few years ago, and it was my first time going. And I've lived in Arizona forever, and I just never had a chance to get out to the observatory. And it's one of my favorite hobbies is astronomy and physics and stuff like that. And going to the observatory was so much fun. So much fun. And everybody there is so passionate about astronomy and talking to everybody, and like all of them talking about the stars and the universe and space and everything is like so exciting because they're excited, you know?
Yeah.
And they have several telescopes up there, which was really cool. So you do like have you ever been to an observatory before?
No. Nope.
Okay.
I have not.
Arizona is the perfect place for it because we don't have moisture in the air. So
I feel like my hair would not do well, but keep going.
Your hair would not do well. But you can totally see the stars.
But dang, the stars would be amazing.
When you go to an observatory, they have where you can actually look through the telescopes and stuff. So you can actually walk up to the telescopes and look and see the stars, or wherever they have it aimed at, the moon or whatever. And they have screens that will show you things from other telescopes and stuff, where you'll get to see like little nebulas where they would be and stuff. Like, and they do tours of the night sky where they have like a laser pointer and they're like circling things up in the air, and they're like, "This is this constellation over here," and I'm like, "Oh, this is so much fun!" Like,
that sounds amazing. I am amazed by the mystery and the vastness of space. It's breathtaking. Did you hear recently they just found like a cold spot that they thought was like, I can't remember. They called it a cold spot, but what they think it is like a crack into other galaxies. Of there being like other galaxies within this place that they didn't think that were. Yeah, I just saw it on like some random.
I'm gonna go look now.
It's fascinating. It is fascinating to think. You're like, we gotta go. We're gonna go do a space show. See you guys.
Actually, you know what? Yes, we're gonna go. We're gonna move on to my other hobbies.
But I just, and my dad's really into that kind of stuff too, and he's very articulate. So listening to someone who like knows what they're talking about, describe, you know, just what they can and what we know about the universe is just mesmerizing. That's so cool.
It's one of those things where they say, you know, when astronauts go to space, they realize how small everything is on Earth. And it brings like a feeling of like togetherness and like all these wonderful feelings. And I'm like, I want to go out in space and have wonderful feelings too.
Can I come along
after COVID?
Can I come and have special good feelings, please?
I want to have space feelings.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I think you know this, but I'm a Christian. And so for me, when I think of those things, it takes on a whole other meaning just to know that there's like the vastness that there is, and yet God created us. This is what I believe. And it's just an incredible thing to think about. Because if you think of how huge everything is, and then the detail of the tiniest thing ever, what? Wow, look at us. We're getting so deep right now.
I know it is. I know you all were not prepared for this, and I apologize.
Because you're a hobbyist into this kind of thing, is there anything like epic or crazy or cool you can tell us that we probably don't know, everyday schmoes like myself?
Oh, I don't know. I really love the physics of everything. So the fact that everything big has different physics than everything like very, very small is so interesting. And I feel like that combined theory of having everything roped together, like between the big and small, like I want that to happen so bad. Like I want us to do more things with technology and space. And I feel like we have like this vast untapped thing here. And I'm so disappointed that we spend so much money on other things. I'm like, I just want more people in space. We need to find things in space.
Why are we building more department stores and fast food when there's stars up there?
Don't need another Walmart. I want a space trip.
Yeah. Girl. Amen. Amen to that. I just think that is the coolest thing. I love it. I love that you're into that. It's awesome.
Well, and I think everybody being able to see it from that perspective really gets everybody together, because then more people that can realize that, hey, we're all like this human species that's sitting on this earth here and out in this vastness of everything. We should probably be working together. It's dangerous out there.
I mean, warlords in space. Hello.
Yeah, I'm like, it's dangerous to go alone.
Oh, that's so cool. I have one of my best friend's husband is really into stargazing, and he has this huge telescope that he bought. So he'll put it out on the deck at like perfect nights, and he'll go out, and he has like this little red like light that he wears on his head. This huge book with numbers. I don't know what they mean, but there's numbers, girl. And he's like tracking stuff. It's pretty so cool. I love it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
My respect for him went up a notch when I saw it. I was like, you have a nerd gene in you, and I appreciate it.
Well,
I love it.
Speaking of science and scientific things, one of the games that I played this week does have science in it.
Science! You're blinding me with science.
Oh, right. I mean, you have to sing that whenever you're playing this game.
I mean, you said science, so.
Right? As soon as you say science, that's it. That's exactly where it goes. Either that or Bill Nye the Science Guy, right?
Yeah, that's right. Bill Nye the Science Guy, yeah. Oh my gosh, that brings me back. Wow.
Oh my goodness. So this is My Father's Work. It's by Renegade Games. I don't know if you've seen this on Kickstarter. Have you seen anything about this game?
I have heard a lot about this. I had no idea what it looked like visually, and so I am super intrigued. Please tell.
Let me see if they have like pictures and stuff on here of stuff. Okay. So My Father's Work is a worker placement game, and it's where you take 3 generations through this village, and it's kind of almost a little bit choose your own adventure, because as you go through, you have to make choices, or you land on storybook portions of the game where it tells a story, and then you have to make a choice off of this portion of the story because of everything. And it integrates, it's almost like a little bit like a Forgotten Waters in a way, because you have this integration and storytelling going on with this app, and then you have things changing before you, which is really, really cool. They have this flip here in the center where your choices in the village actually change the village throughout the game. So each generation and possibly in between stuff, it will be flipping. And based off of what you build in the town, that's going to appear, and weird stuff's going to happen. Like this game
weird stuff
was so much fun to play. I love storytelling games. And oh my gosh,
you do.
Pieces, like they put all this effort into creating all these amazing pieces with the game. I want to see if they have they have actual little bottles, because you're all mad scientists, so you're creating experiments. Look, they have little glass bottles for all your
my gosh. What? Come on.
Here's where you get your dead bodies. You get your dead bodies here to operate on.
Bring out your dead.
Right?
This is where you get your dead body. You can pick up your dish soap and your cereal and your dead body.
And your dead bodies. That's how it happens, okay?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it starts with a trip to Walmart, ends at the dead body store.
The really interesting thing, though, about this particular worker placement that I thought was really cool is that you have some workers that can only be placed in your estate, and you have some workers that can only be placed out in the village, and you have very select workers that can be placed anywhere, but you do get penalties if you place them in certain areas. You know, like you don't want to send your spouse into your laboratory and then freak them out because of all the crazy weird science things you're doing, because they'll leave you. And then later on, you can't, that's a whole worker that left, for actions and stuff like that, because you put them in a weird situation, which I thought was...
Why would you do that?
Right? Why would you send your spouse into the laboratory?
Anybody in a weird situation. It's just socially awkward.
Dr. GloryHoundd says, we only get our bodies at Target. Humble brag. Hashtag humble brag.
Okay. Oh, you're one of those families. Okay. All right. We pick ours up from Goodwill sometimes. Don't judge.
Right. And Panic says, I like the look of this game. Absolutely. It's so much fun to play. It was just fun. That thing with weird science and you're building this monstrosity. I was looking for my immortality for my life's work, and the doctor was trying to become a lycanthrope, so a lichen through his life work, and you're trying to complete all of these tasks as well as make sure, I mean, you just never had like enough stuff to do, or enough turns to do everything in this game. That's what I really like about really good worker placements is when you don't have enough workers to do every single thing you want to do.
Yeah, that's a really good sign of a good worker placement when you're like, I gotta pick one of these 6 things and like do well in it, because it's easy to kind of go try to do everything and not do well.
I wanted to complete my life's work, but then the town was changing so fast that I was trying to keep up with like the tasks of what was happening in town to make sure that like I got victory points through that. And then also all of my regular projects that work up to like my life's work, I had to manage those and you only have, what is it? It's 3 rounds and 3 turns per round, or not 3 turns per round. It's 3, so it's generations, and I can't remember the other thing, but it's still a limited amount of tasks. Like
I'm super intrigued by this one. So is it pretty, I mean, you said there's story. Is it pretty story driven, or is that just a component of it, but it's not really
It is story
heavy?
It is story driven, but the game is incredibly simple to learn because it is. It's just worker placement. You're like, okay, these workers with square bases go over here. These workers with round bases go over here. And these workers, you know, you can put everywhere. And so that part of it was so easy, but the story and the fun of that, bringing it in while also having to try to complete all these tasks and do everything, and that ever-changing task list, because it's not like you put out 3 goal cards and you're like, all right, these are the 3 goals you have to work before the end of the game. No, it's, hey, here's your goal, and then all of a sudden a story thing happens and something pops up in the town. You're like, oh crap, now I have to change everything I'm doing, and I was working on this.
Keep on your toes. You got to kind of keep adapting. That's kind of cool. That sounds exciting.
It was really exciting. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I mean, Renegade just did such a lovely job with all of the components and art, and like the figures were amazing.
I knew nothing about it except for the name. It's My Father's Work.
Is that my father's work? Yeah.
Okay. So
Kickstarter right now.
As soon as I hear My Father's Work, the thing that pops into my head immediately, the first time I ever heard that, there's a hymn that goes, "This is my father's world." Do, 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 do. And so I'm like, I had this like Christian hymn in my head when I heard it, and I go look it up, and it's like, no, there's dead bodies.
Yeah, and you're like,
corpses. I'm like, that's not the hymn. This is not a game about the hymn.
This is a different thing.
This is a different thing. But it does look really fun. I am intrigued. I don't have a lot of people in our gaming group who like story driven. My gaming group is like Euro as Euro gets. Like we are just and I love that because it's my favorite. But so I don't often get that flavor. But I'm definitely interested. It looks really pretty. Like the box is very eye catching.
Well, and it might be an interesting challenge because of the worker placement and then having things change in the middle of the game for that. So it might be like a try before, you know, you go out and actually do anything with it. You're like, I'm going to try this. This is odd.
I'm going to try this thing.
Yeah.
So for my game, we're going to do something a little bit differently. I have here a game haul bag. And when we went to Dork, I need to disclaimer this. Randy's like, well, you don't need to tell them that we didn't get through the games. Just be like, these are the games you brought. I can't. I just had to tell everyone we didn't play any games on this trip, okay? We failed. No games were played. But we're going to do a little guessing game to see if you guys can guess what Randy did think that we would be able to accomplish with 4 kids in a hotel room in Door County over a weekend.
What was he thinking?
I don't know. I mean, we always bring games, but I'm just like, I actually asked him 2 nights in a row. I'm like, do you want to play something? He's like, babe, I am so tired because we literally didn't stop swimming, hiking, moving. Like, so we didn't play anything. The first one though is an Uwe Rosenberg game. It has little animals.
I already asked Monopoly. Is it Monopoly?
It is not Monopoly. It will never be Monopoly. I'll just say that right there. I'll just read this. I'll read this and see if you can guess it.
Okay.
So in blank, you're constructing an animal park, build animal encounters, introduce new animals, and raise their offspring. Can anybody guess yet? The gameplay is straightforward as you have only 2 turn options. Puzzle a new enclosure tile into your zoo area or gain new animals to populate your animal encounters. Anybody?
So the first couple ones that come to mind are like the dinosaur sort of games, but I don't think it's those. because I'm like, oh, Dynagenics, but that's not exactly like a Dynagenics.
Eclectic Camel says,
is it like
TI4? No, but it is New York Zoo. You're like, I've never seen that cover before.
Hold on.
I've never seen that cover before. Let me turn it the right way. This game is so much fun. I love it. It has the same, Uwe Rosenberg, he's known for his like polyomino type stuff. So it's got that same thing where you're taking tiles to place them into your zoo, your like little enclosure. But the cool thing about it is when you place one in, you can move animals that are in one enclosure to the new one that you just placed. So you don't have to always keep your animals in the same spot. So every time also you pass like a breeding tile through the game, you can actually breed into that encounter if you have more than obviously the one animal in there. So so then isn't that cute? So as soon as you get every space filled on the little polyomino tile, you get to then swipe that tile free of your animals. I think you keep one, and then that's considered, it can stay there, and you can either keep working with that little tile or keep adding more. And the point is that you want to fill up your entire enclosure first. So kind of has a race-ish element. You really got to time it perfectly with filling your park in first and breeding animals in a timely manner. Because if you if you fill out a tile first and you wipe them clean because you filled it, you actually get first pick of these little like amusement park tiles that are off to the side. And some of them are very tiny and they're like only like 2 squares. So you want to get there first and be able to get the big, Mac Daddy tiles that can come into your zoo and like slap down and take up a ton of room. So you want to get your enclosure filled. You breed the animals. It plays in, oh my gosh, Rain and I could whip a game out in a half an hour. Like it plays really quick. Yeah.
It looks so adorable.
It's adorable. The animals are so cute. It plays well. I think I've played it. I think it's 2 to 4. We've played it at every count and it's fantastic. It's just so cute and very satisfying for such a little, like just kind of simple polyomino game. It's really cute. The only thing that I don't like about it, and this is me being picky, it literally doesn't matter, is the board. So it opens up like in a trifold. And it's kind of this funky shape. I don't know if you can see that. See, it's like, it's not like a board. It's like a long thing with like jaggy edges. And I just feel like color wise and like to my eye, it could have been a little cleaner. And that's such a nitpicky, stupid thing. It has nothing to do with gameplay, but that's the only thing. Cause I'm like, the animals are so bright and pretty. And then the map is a little bit meh. Like I wish it was just more colorful, Come on, Uwe, what the heck? We talked about this.
Like they're just you're like put them on the board and you're like, I'm sorry you have to live in this sad cage with all this sad grass.
Come on in, flamingos, let's go. I know. It's a dump. So that's one of the games Randy brought. So yeah.
So like, okay. Eclectic Camel says, so like why this versus Barren Park? Because Barren Park was the thing that came to mind for me. And this looks similar to it, but it is different than Barren Park. Have you played Barren Park before?
Yes. And the reason he brought it instead of Barren Park is because I don't like Barren Park.
Okay, so this is good. Why don't you like Barren Park compared to this game? Like,
oh my gosh, they're so similar, right?
Yeah, they seem really similar.
I like that it feels more open. I like, first of all, the animal breeding when you cross over an animal, and it's not just for on your turn. When anybody at the table crosses over an animal breeding place, if you have those animals, you also get to breed. So it's got that feeling of like doing something on someone else's turn, which I love. And then just the fact of the freedom of moving your animals to do, there's more manipulation of the map happening, I feel. You can move your animals strategically to a smaller little enclosure to quickly fill up that tile, swipe it clean, and get access to an amusement park tile that you want in your park to fill up spaces. So it just feels a little bit like more creative, I feel. And the tiles don't have to go like they don't have to all touch each other. You can put it anywhere in your enclosure. So they don't have to work off each other. So for me, that just feels, it frees up a little bit more of you being able to do a little more what you want.
Eclectic Camel says, wait, people don't like Barren Park? And I have to say, I don't like Barren Park either. I'm sorry. I don't like it either.
Why don't you like, it stresses me out. Like, I just don't think and everyone's like, the bears are so cute. And I'm like, they're about a quarter of the size of a piece of rice. So you can hardly see it. What are you talking about?
I'm gonna tell you my reason, and I feel bad saying it because it's the most like jerky gamer response ever.
All right. I can't wait to hear this.
I apologize in advance, and just as a note, I don't think it's a terrible game. I just don't like it because it's boring and I don't feel like it's challenging. There's plenty of other people out there that love it, and I apologize. I know, I feel like I just went like ripped off somebody's Band-Aid on something, and I'm sorry, but
GloryHoundd's like, I'm just too smart for it. It's boring.
And that's what it sounds like when I say it, right? It's terrible.
I understand though. Like see, look at like Typhon TV says boring. That is the word. That's the word. I'm like, what is it about Barren Park that I don't like? I think it's boring. Yeah.
Oh, I'm
that's a good word.
Shaming. I'm so sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Look at us. We're like destroying that game. Randy actually printed his first ever game insert for it too, but like it's super heavy. It makes the game like 10 pounds heavier. It's like super chunky. And I got it for him for Christmas. He really likes it. I like New York Zoo. It's the same thing, but with more freedom, and it feels more open. Yeah, so I highly suggest playing it.
Sounds like there's a lot more going on in it, which I think that's, for me, is definitely what's missing from Barren Park, because I'm like, yay, this is just like some placement with, if you're moving stuff around and then also having the challenge of filling those polyominoes, it feels more like a like Isle of Cats sort of thing, where you're trying to do two things at once. You know, you're placing cats and placing tile, like you're doing all sorts of stuff. You know.
Yep, and the strategy lies in where you're going to migrate your animals at what time, and it is strategic, because if you mess that up, it can be a little bit hard to gain that ground back. So you really, if you're playing with someone who's like, has a really good mind for this type of thing, like Randy, it's really hard to beat that.
like Randy.
Like my husband. So,
my goodness.
There's that game.
Well, I also ended up playing this game. It's from 2017. I'm looking at the thing right now. It's from 2017. I don't know if you've played this before. It's called Path. This was a game I received in for a review, and I'm like, oh, this should be an interesting game. But sometimes you get in games, and when you play it, you're like, oh, okay, this was good, but it wasn't like the most epic thing I've ever played in my life.
Sure.
Path was completely different. This was a game I got in thinking that, and I was like, oh my God, I love this game so much.
Oh, really? That's a nice surprise. Because there's some games you get and they're kind of wonky, and you're like,
because this one looked so good, and I was like, oh, I hope this isn't something that looks amazing, and then I'm going to be disappointed by what's happening, because it has. Hold on, here's the picture. Here's the picture right here. It has. Look at these.
Oh, what?
This is the defense of the territory right here. Okay, so you have these here. So this is 3 defense. That's 3 defense. So each one of these things, and then the one on the top is 1 defense. So you have like this visual representation of the defense, and each of the victory points that you're going to get for having control of that area. And this is combined with this area control portion of the game with deck building. So
I'm surprised to hear that.
Yes, right? And I have another area control deck building game, which I really, really love, Tyrants of the Underdark, that I think I like Path more than Tyrants of the Underdark, I have to say. Because with Path, like, you get to fight a little bit. You know, there's like a little bit of fighting. When you fight, the defense of an area goes down, so you're trying not to fight too much, because you don't want to ruin all the points from that area, but you also want to take over certain territories to get bonus points. And then the game kind of builds as you go along. You know, the beginning points might be smaller for having 2 of the same territories. And then, you know, on the 3rd time around, then it gets bigger. And then the 4th time around, it becomes bigger. And you're like, oh my gosh, like these points are getting crazy. And you really have to watch who's taking what territories while also managing your deck. So I know the paint looks really nice. Right now I'm jealous over all these paintings, Doctor, on here.
He's like, oh, great.
Well, now
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
And paint all of these. So
that is cool. You know what? I'm not really a miniature gamer. Like, I don't care about that. And this is really interesting. And this is why I think it's you and I having a show together is really cool, because we both bring in like very different things that we like. And because you tend to like the really dark, story driven with minis, and I'm just like dry Euro stuff. But,
I love that too, though, because you get a mix of everything, right?
Yeah, I know, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But I will say I appreciate the heck out of boards that have really cool pieces to put out there to make it very just undulaty and give depth to the board, and you can kind of squat down like that and see everything from the side. I just think that's very, very cool. I do appreciate that.
Absolutely. Like, and the miniatures, as you can see, are fantastic. So if anybody's a fan of miniature games, the miniatures are so much fun.
That's painted really well.
Oh, right? Whoever's done these miniatures, I'm going to look this up later.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Such a nice surprise. Such a nice surprise. Because I was crossing my fingers that this was going to be an amazing game, because I'm always looking for like my next favorite area control game.
Oh my gosh. Have you played Rurik yet, by the way, that has area control in it?
No, I haven't. It's on my list of ones though that I really want to play. I think
we talked about it.
Yeah, I think the doctor was like, "Nah, I don't really want," because of course that's like one of his least favorite things to play is area control stuff.
Yeah, you got to tell him that. You got to tell him. Okay, area control stresses me out, because if you come in and you take my stuff, dude, we cannot be friends. We cannot. We know we've discussed how violent we kind of get.
Yeah, as soon as he comes in, you'd be like, "What are you doing? Moving? Do you really want to start this?
It's like,
do you want to move your person there?
I don't think you want to do that. I'll let you rethink it.
Yeah. I'll let you take
but
one
I will
back.
say, why don't you go ahead and not do that?
Yeah.
You can live peaceably, and how it works is really cool. So it's Euro, and the fighting is very Euro style. It's like you go in there, you declare you're going to fight, and then you draw this card. So you fought them. So you get the fighting action. So it's not like, oh, I lost. But then by drawing it, there could be like something bad that also happens too. So it's kind of a gamble in that. It's such an interesting little mixture of area control, because you don't have to fight in there. You can live within the same realm and not kill.
I like that.
So
though.
There's that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's really cool.
Too. What is it? Scythe has that sort of thing where you're trying to control all these different places for resources and stuff, and like you don't have to technically fight in that game, and it's almost better that you don't, because like you lose resources and materials, and you lose so much stuff whenever you end up fighting. There's only one clan in there, so I like games like that as well, just having that strategicness of the board. I don't know what it is, but Path was so much fun.
Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, Path was just so much fun.
I would love to try. You always bring up the most interesting games. Like I've never even heard of that, but it sounds really cool. Scythe was like, I played that very early on in my like gaming hobby, and I remember loving my individual player board. But as soon as something started happening out on the main board, when you were like moving mechs around, everything felt so slow. I couldn't handle it. Like I don't like the feeling of like things not progressing. I like to see a quick build up and things like that. Just more exciting to me. I would like to try it again though, because I think I've come to appreciate aspects like that of games. But as I'm sitting here, I just got a text from a friend who's like, "I don't think we can be friends anymore because you said Barren Park's boring." I'm just like, okay. Can I rescind that, or it's live, so there's no chopping.
Fine.
No, and that's so funny, because Randy always wants to play, and I'm like, no. But I would play New York Zoo any day over it. So
I have to read Battle Cry's response. So area control starts in the bedroom with the covers on the bed, and that is true. You don't have control of your own covers on your bed.
Oh,
and you're losing.
My gosh, yes. That's a whole thing in and of itself, isn't it?
It is, for real. Okay, so hot marriage tip right now. Okay, so have 2 sets of blankets so you don't have to share with your partner.
Oh, that's actually awesome. Why have I never thought of that? Oh, that's really a good idea. Because we cannot afford to have like, we don't have the house space for 2 beds.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's actually pretty smart. I don't understand how like...
Yeah, whenever we go to bed, we have like 2 blankets, 2 comforters on top, and then we split the comforters. We're like, all right, now it's
hilarious. I don't know why I never thought of that. Oh my gosh. I do the thing where I do the like the sheet and I tuck it under the first mattress and like sandwich it in between the two mattresses, like really tight. That is just like one of my favorite things to do. Is you lift up the mattress, you go and you slide it under really fast to make it really tight. So then in the morning, it's all pulled out of there. I'm like, but how is that happening? I don't understand it. But I think it makes Randy feel like claustrophobic that he can't like move around because I'm like, I'm strapped out with the sheet.
That's the same thing for me though. I like the tightness of everything. And so I'll go in there and I'll tuck all my stuff in. And then the doctor's stuff is just thrown everywhere. Like his comforter is like on the bed ride, it's sideways. And like, I'm like, what are you doing? I need like straightness.
Oh my gosh. This morning I got up at like 5 a.m. to go get a drink. And when I came back to the bed, one of my sons had crawled in. I was like, get out.
It's like a cat.
How is it even possible? I was gone for like 20 seconds. I know. It was like, how? Did you hear me open the door? Like, oh my gosh. I gotta wrap myself. If I don't feel like a burrito before bed, I'm not sleeping.
You don't sleep well, okay? It's like a nest, his doctor.
Oh my gosh. That's
his doctor's nest on his side of the bed.
He like creates this little circle and like crawls in it.
Like, there's like some pillows around it and stuff. And I'm like, what is happening over here?
This is super random, but I do have a question now that we're talking about this.
Okay.
Do you have throw pillows on your bed? Decorative throw pillows. We got to have the talk.
You are going to talk about it. This is okay. So
I'm so excited to hear this answer.
The type of pillows that I have on my bed. I have a gigantic pineapple with a smiley face on it. I have a gigantic fat unicorn that I also sleep with.
Unpredictable, but also acceptable.
Giant chocolate chip cookie that's smiling.
This is not the answer I was expecting. Oh my gosh.
I
will not judge that. That sounds amazing.
I love Squishables. And so they make all of these comfort food pillows. And so I've bought enough that we don't use decorative pillows anymore. We just have we sleep in comfort food. I'm like, yes, French toast. I love you so much.
It's like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yes.
Your whole room is like one big smorgasbord of food. That's hilarious. I was not expecting that answer.
I know.
But you do have a lot of pillows on your bed, right? And so in the morning you put everything back on there and kind of just do you make your bed in the morning?
Yeah, I try to make the bed, but doctor is not a fan of that. But then it just gets instantaneously messed up because the doctor goes and lays in there and the kid goes and lays in there and we talk a lot in there too. So I mean, the whole thing just gets messed up. That's why we have so many dang pillows in there, you need extra pillows.
We're going to play a game here real quick. Who can guess how many throw pillows that I have on my bed? And this is not including the 2 that we sleep with. I will tell you, I like throw pillows. And I recently, I painted our room last year and I'm trying to make it very moody in there and dramatic. I got a lot of really deep, rich colors. I have a plum velvet quilt. And then I have all these pillows that I put up for just luxury. So
first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you like odd numbers or even numbers?
That's such a good question.
That's going to change my decision.
That's such a good question. I love this. I like even numbers because I feel safer with them.
Okay. Cat's going off with so many numbers.
I like even numbers feel safe, but the odd number adds the cherry on top in my mind. I have this weird OCD thing that I do, and there's got to be a dink at the top.
I'm going to say 7. Our chat, we have 9, 13, 11. We have 12, 8, lots of stuff in chat. So somebody's going to win today. I'm hoping.
Everyone's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that your final answer?
Well, now you're making me second guess myself. 7 was the first number that came into my head.
That's a solid number. That's a good number. That's a really good number.
That's my final answer.
I actually have, not including the 2 pillows that we sleep on, 13 pillows.
13.
So Battle Cry wins.
It was a multiple thing though. Oh, it was 13.
Yeah.
I'm a good number. Battle Cry, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, Battle Cry's the winner.
Being dangerous with that odd number.
Right?
Okay. Please, somebody in the chat, tell me if you have this thing. Like when I visually look at something, I see it like this. I see it in sets, and then in the middle of those, and then adding up, and then on the top, and it does this, like, it's so bizarre. I've had it since I was a kid. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that odd number, that very last, like, that makes the set even. It's so bizarre. I know. Please, somebody out there agree with me.
So your bed is like this lush, beautiful, like color, yes. Like all these beautiful colors, and mine's like a buffet. Like you ran into a buffet. I love it so much, though.
And it's just like, look at this. Like, we're still continuing to be opposite. Like, you have all your game things that you like, and your background's blue, mine's pink, yes. And I like different games, and we have pillows, but they're totally different. I just think it's so cool.
I love it so much.
Oh, Matt Book, you have the same weird head thing? Please tell me you do. It's like this visual. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, what other game did you bring? Did you bring any other games?
Yeah, we have
can guess today?
4 more in here, but I'll pull out another like 1 or 2 because otherwise we're going to be here till Christmas. Okay. I'm gonna go with this one here. I think this might be. So this is. Is it technically? I don't think it's technically a kids game, but it's definitely, I feel, geared towards kids, but it plays really, really well. It is based off of a video game.
Okay.
I feel like it's a really good clue. I'm trying to, I'll read a passage from the back here and see if you can guess. Collect rare blocks and build spectacular structures, but beware of dangerous mobs and scheming opponents. May the most clever and courageous crafter win.
Okay, so is this the Minecraft one?
Yes. And I think there's multiple. Yeah. Yep. Again, with the upside down. What the heck is wrong with my family?
I'm like so proud of myself right now for guessing.
I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of you too, frankly. It was a great guess. So Minecraft Builders and Biomes is a fantastic game. I don't like video games. My kids always try to get me to play this. They're obsessed with Minecraft. But the way you set this game up in a grid, and it really, like in the game of Minecraft, you're digging through levels of earth to like find rare gems and just things. I don't even really know what. And the game is set up that way. It's a grid, and you dig down underneath the tiles, and you can actually come across, like they say, mobs and different enemies, and you can beat them different ways. The scoring is so interesting because you're collecting resources to be able to build. I don't even know what they're called. I wish I was more savvy with this game now. What are they even called? Structures, I guess. You're building structures, and at the end, what you have built based on your resources, and I think there's some set collection stuff too. That's how you win. But it's very much like the game. You feel like you're playing Minecraft.
Really?
Yeah. Like my kids were actually really impressed with it. My kids don't play a lot of board games at all, just to be honest. They really don't. But this one, they said, feels like you're playing Minecraft, and they actually wanted to play it a couple of times. So I was pretty impressed with the way this game plays. So we like it over here.
Are you at the point now where your kids are getting close to like winning games and stuff yet?
Yeah, definitely.
How scared are you on the inside about that?
It's crazy because it's one of those moments where, when you see, like the kid gets their driver's license and you see them drive off and you're like, oh, they're turning into an adult. But as a child, when they start legitimately winning games, you also have that epiphany moment of like, oh my gosh, they're smart enough to understand this and win and beat like adults who have like a gamer head on their shoulders. So yeah. My son Travis is so smart, and he's very thinky when he plays. I've noticed Calico. We play Calico.
Yeah.
That's a tricky game. I'm sorry. Like
it is really tricky, right?
The scoring in that game is it's like this little cat laying there, and I'm like, that game will hand your butt to you. And he had all the sets. He knew exactly what he needed to collect. He was very strategic with what he took when. So yeah, my son Travis is starting to get very winning.
Yeah. And in chat, let us know too if your kids are getting close to winning, because it's a whole like reckoning thing that happens in your mind when that starts happening. So when we were playing Path this weekend, our kid the first scoring round, jumped ahead of both me and the doctor by 50 points. And it was like, it
50?
was that record. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. 50 points. And that was around the board. Like they were going to start trying to overlap us, like start lapping us. And it's like the doctor and I turned to each other and you could see it in like each other's eyes, like we connected and we're like,
you were just like, what just happened?
Like, gotta take this kid down. It was like, you and me for life. You and me, doctor.
Put them in their place. Yep. Put them in their place. You are the child.
It was like, I like that. I'm in danger right now.
That's crazy. So you guys, I'm assuming this is purely based on me getting to know you through doing this, how you're like merciless when you play games.
Yes.
No mercy on your kid too, right?
No mercy. No, I'm like, I'm moving into her territory and I'm like, Mommy's going to take this over now. Okay. So
Mommy's going to do this thing and it might hurt a little bit, but I love you.
Do this. Yeah, exactly. Mommy needs to do this for her end game points. Okay. So you're going to have to defend yourself. But know that
you
I
felt safe
you.
before this game, but now you're treading in territory that you'll see a new side of mother
when you come over and take mommy's stuff. Okay.
I love that. I just saw a whole post about somebody like, do you let your kids win? No.
Yes. I saw that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Never.
Nope.
Never.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We help them along. If there's something that they're clearly not seeing, we can be like, just so you know, remember you can do. Because that's just being nice to we do that with anybody.
Right.
You know, it's not just our kid, but no, we don't cater to that. And I'm not going to judge anyone who does because you figure that stuff out yourself.
Nosferatu says, I've decided.
GloryHound's like, I'll judge that.
I've decided when my child beats me at a game, I've done my job as a father.
That's a great way to look at it. I love that. That's really funny.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So in the game, they ended up not winning, but the game was so insanely close that, they've beaten us at a couple of games now, but it's always not when you start getting them where they're lapping the board. And that was like a come to terms moment with like, oh gosh, like this person is a threat in my life. A threat in my gaming life.
I never thought my child would threaten me, but this is the day. Cross that line.
Going down.
Oh, yeah, my kids beat me all the time at stuff. They really do. Like when we actually play, because we don't game that often. But have you gotten your kids to play more, by the way? Like, and if so, how the heck? How are you doing this? Force?
Well.
There it is, folks. Force.
No, sometimes, you got to take everything away and be like, all right, now what do you want to do? By the way, we're playing a game. So.
Oh, I love it. I need to do that more. I put my foot down with so many things in their life, but I need to start doing that with games because I just think it's that important. I really do.
It really is. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's one of those things. I try to remind them, hey, you might not want to play it right this second because you're playing Skyrim or something else. But remember that feeling when you sit down and play. Mm-hmm. And you're going to have that same feeling. It's just you need to go ahead. Like, you can get back to that other stuff. It's still going to be there. But remember that feeling and how excited you were to play those games and everything. You're going to have that same feeling. So just come join us. It seems
that's a great way to say that.
Yeah. But once you get there, it's going to be amazing. So just try to keep that in mind, kiddo,
I think video games too are a lot of instant gratification feelings. And that as an adult, when we do that, when you post something, and also you start seeing likes come in, it's like this adrenaline of ooh, exciting activity. And I think that's what video games do for kids. So if you explain to them, and I'm preaching to the choir, I've not done that. So I'm going to use that line of being you're going to get that feeling and it's going to be awesome. Cause I tell adults oh, why do you like gaming? Cause it's an experience that you have together and there's nothing like it. Mm-hmm. It's just very bonding in a very unique way. So
it really is.
Time to force the kids.
Yeah. And I mean, anybody who isn't teaching your kid how to game or gaming with your kid, you need to, because it teaches them leadership skills. If you're going to be all working together and everything, it teaches them problem solving. It's going to teach them math skills. It's going to give them
so true.
Social skills whenever you have to barter with people in games, or even taking that defeat or something, or being a good winner. It teaches them so many different skills. And here's the biggest thing in life, when you're doing things, you can mess stuff up and bad stuff happens. In a game, you can mess up whatever you want, and then you can just reset it and try again. And having that ability to make mistakes.
That's deep.
Yeah, having that ability to make mistakes and go, oh, okay, this didn't work this other time, kind of trains you like, hey, in life, I can make mistakes, and you know, I can go back and try again and try a different way, and maybe it's not as bad as I think, you know. So I mean, board games are so important for kids.
I love that. I've heard so many testimonies over the years of how they brought their family together with gaming, or friends that they, you know, didn't really have a connection with. They were just acquaintances, and they brought them in and they bonded over this thing. But like, even as an adult, you saying that is helpful to me as an adult. I'm not even kidding. I can be a very, very sore loser. I really can. Like, if I'm playing with other people, not really. I get a little annoyed that I didn't do well, but it's not like I'm mad at you, you won. But against my husband, we've talked about this a million times. But that's a good thing to remember, is like, you can mess up. It's okay to just not do well, and the consequences will be that you just didn't do well, and do better next time.
Right.
So I think that's a great thing to tell kids, to come to the table and just do things, and there won't be these like crazy life consequences. It's just teaches you all these other skills, and that's so cool.
Absolutely.
So much deepness.
It's a great learning time for them.
My friend Chrissy's in the chat. She's like, Ellen is sore loser. What? Girl, that Chrissy, she's my girl. She is a good friend of mine, games here all the time. She's in my posts the vast majority of the time playing games. We played, I think I told you this, Merlin at 4 players, and we got finished around midnight, and I think I told you I apologized to her the next day.
Yes,
I did. I'm just having a real moment with all my peeps out there. I was like, we weren't fighting, but I was getting really crabby. And so I was very short, and I was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Bye. See you later. And she left, you know? So the next morning, after I was like rested and not a psycho, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry if I was crabby. Like, I was doing so poorly. And
Anyway. Says, teacher asks what mommy does for living, reviews board games online, and crushes my hopes and dreams when we play roll and rides. Yeah, mommy's doing it right.
I love that. I love that so much. Speaking of roll and write, or roll and draw, your Railroad Ink that you talked about last week, I started talking to Randy about that, and I was like, you know what? I need to ask that game to forgive me, because I judged it really hard. I want to try it again. He's like, I always wondered why you didn't like it. And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm picky. I need to try it again. So thanks for that.
Well, let me know whenever you do try it, and if you liked it or not. And you're like, I still hate this game, or it wasn't too bad.
I will definitely try it again. I definitely need to. That's so funny.
Fatal says, look, in life, people are going to try to gang up on you, and Doc and Hound teaching their kids life lessons by teaming up on them 2v1. See?
Teach them in the home where it's a safe environment.
That's right. You go, you know what? This is going to be a bad loss right now, but in life, we're teaching you lessons, okay?
I love it.
Mommy and Daddy are going to wreck you right now.
True. It's so true. I noticed actually some of my kids having a really bad attitude when they would lose, like just legitimately getting mad. And I couldn't even say, like, that's not good to do that, because I was like, oh, that's what I do too. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good look.
Yeah, you're like, I need to be better.
Yeah. Man, this is like honesty. Welcome to Honesty Corner with GloryHoundd and Ellen. And we discuss the embarrassing, how many throw pillows we have, and how we're sore losers.
We're going to have board game group therapy sessions Thursday at 8 p.m. Will you be going to Gen Con this year? Okay. So first off, will you, Ellen, be going to Gen Con this year?
No. I would love to, but it's just not in the cards for so many reasons. What about you?
And I'm leaning the same way. So I had it up on Twitter where I kind of asked everybody if they were going to Gen Con or not, because I was kind of curious to see who would be going out there. And I see a lot of publishers that are going out there and everything, but not as many reviewers. There's some, but not as many reviewers. And I had a lot of really interesting points brought up with all of that, as well as far as, some people are still really concerned about how many people are vaccinated versus, who's going to be there and stuff like that, which is understandable and everything. And there was a lot of really other interesting things that people ended up bringing up in that in that thread. Like, if you're interested in it, go on over to my Twitter and just because like a gajillion people went ahead and answered, and everybody had different answers, and I didn't shame anybody for whatever they were doing, because it's totally your choice if you want to go and do those things.
Let's please not do that. Let's please not shame each other for your choices that you make. I'm really done with that.
like conventions are going to open at some point, and I was just curious to see who all was going. And I feel like at the beginning I was unsure of whether I was going or not. And at the end I was like, you know what? I feel better after hearing that lots of people aren't going, because I don't feel the pressure to have to go if I don't want to, if that makes sense.
Sure.
You know, because I always have the FOMO of, oh man, I'm going to miss out. I'm going to miss out on seeing friends. I'm going to miss out on seeing games. I'm going to miss out on talking to publishers. I'm going to miss out on all this stuff. But after reading everybody's kind of stance and what all the stuff people brought up, I was like, you know what? I could probably miss this one and be okay. There's lots of other people that aren't going. People are still doing online stuff. And maybe I'll hit up Origins, you know, like I'll assess as I go. And I felt so much better about that decision and assessing as I go, rather than being like, I need to be here, you know, like do what's best for you and your family, you know?
Yep. I agree. We're not going for other reasons. The COVID stuff and vaccines is not something that I'm going to get judged so hard here. Probably. I didn't think of that when I decided to go or not go. I didn't. That's where I stand. I didn't think of it, but as a family, like where we're at this year, just with different things happening in our home life, I'm like, I just don't think it's good timing. That said, I might be going to the Dice Tower retreat.
Okay.
I might be doing that one. It's a very small one. I told Tom, I'm like, can I come and like do work and then get it? Cause it's sold out. And he's like, if you work for us, you know, I put you to work, you can come. I'm like, okay. So I might go, we'll see. There's other things I have to line up. You know, I've mentioned before, my youngest son is autistic and he has therapy a lot. So that's just a weird schedule to work out. And like Randy would have to stay home, and there's so many things. But are there any conventions that you are going to this year?
I would like to, of course, at least hit up PAX Unplugged. I'd at least like to go to Origins, would be lovely if I could. Because, you know, honestly, I love Origins so much more than Gen Con, everyone. If you are going to go to a convention, I almost recommend going to Origins rather than Gen Con.
I hear that, yeah.
Everything, like, everybody's just so much closer together, and you get to hang out more with more people. Like, Gen Con's all over the place. You have people in this building doing this, and this building doing that in the evening, and there's not like a cool meetup spot where everybody goes and hangs out and meets each other and talks and stuff. And Origins is just, and plus, I mean, I just like the food's better out there.
I mean, like you have food on your bed
out there, so
you have food pillows on your bed, so
it's just good. But yeah,
that's totally a factor. Why? That's great.
Yeah, right. You're still a vacation, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Factor all that stuff in. Yeah. My sister and I were just talking about that this morning, because like when I went to Door County, I was like, I got a list of stuff I'm going to eat.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would like to start there. I would love absolutely to do Dice Tower West next year and stuff. I think next year for sure, you know, the end of the year is looking good, would look really good. But two, you know, you said with kind of your home situation and stuff.
Yep.
It's one of those things of reorganizing the home, because we've been here for so long. I'm like, geez, like who's going to watch the kid? Are we both going? Are one of us going? Are we working with people or for people? It's a lot of organization and stuff that I don't think I was prepared for just yet.
Yeah, I hear you so hard. Origins was the first trip so Randy went to see his brother get married in Las Vegas 8 years ago, and he was red-eye flight, in, out, like home the next day. So Origins was the only trip that he ever went on without me. And it was the hardest. I had such a hard time not being there with him for so many reasons, but I just don't like to be parted from my love. What can I say? I can't help it. So when he left, I was like, it was really hard for me. But now that he kind of ripped that Band-Aid off and did that 1 year, we are thinking more about, okay, if we go to conventions in the future, who should go and who should stay with the kids? Yeah. You kind of got to think, and especially the time of year with school, will there be school? Will it be summer break? Like there's so many things to think about, but I am glad I had that awkward year of him going without me so that I could kind of prepare me mentally for like where we're going into as parents and things like that. It's just,
Yeah.
Anyways.
it's time to wrap up, everybody. Thank you for everybody.
That was a long stream, dude.
It was. We kept going and going. I'm like, oh my gosh, Ellen's going to be on here forever with me. It's amazing.
I know. I'm a talker.
It's like we had to get all we had stuff to talk about. Okay, everyone.
Yeah,
like,
we did.
The streams are going to be weird. Sometimes they're going to be 20 minutes. Sometimes they're going to be an hour.
Sometimes they're going to be an hour of talking about.
Okay.
Throw pillows. Okay, back off.
All right. Thank you for everybody who participated in chat today, and thank you so much for being here with us, Ellen. Can you tell us where they're going to find the next stream at? Like, because this switches channels.
Yeah, it does. So next week, Tuesday, will be on my channel. We Game Together. Do we have a Twitch? I still don't even know. I think we do. I think we have a Twitch and YouTube and Instagram. So I'll be hosting GloryHoundd next week on my channel. We Game Together. We tag team it, which is very cool. I really appreciate that. So that's where you can find me. Yeah.
So make sure to go ahead and check the links in the description. And I believe that we have some links that'll take you directly there, so you can like and subscribe and everything there. So
cool.
Other than that, I think that's about it. I gotta go find my ending credit stream here. I was too busy looking at chat and everybody. I was like, hi, everybody.
The chat was super lively today. I just love it. I'm here for that all day. I love when people add comments, and it's just so fun. I love it.
All right. We will see all of you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.